Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Steph and today I'm going to chat with you about Jane Austen's books. Specifically, what is the publication order for these classic iconic romance stories? Jane Austen herself was born in 1775 and died in 1817. During her lifetime, she wrote several famous pieces of work, including books like Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, inspired many movies and film adaptations of her works. But today we're going to chat about these books and what is the order that she wrote them in. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this from me. From one Austen fan to hopefully another, I hope you enjoy this video. So without further ado, let's get started. First and foremost, she wrote a short story called Love and Friendship when she was young, I believe still a teenager. She also wrote a story which was not published until after her death, which is the first of her 6 major novels. This is Northanger Abbey. It is one of the shortest of her collection, but very astute for her time. The main protagonist in this story is the youngest of all of her 6 major novels, and we can see that she wrote this at a time when she was younger. So it's a little interesting to see the parallels there, although we have a much more naive character in this story than I think Jane ever was herself. So the first one that she published of these 6 major novels is Sense and Sensibility, published in 1811. Now remember, she was born in 1775. She died in 1817, so these were mostly published towards the end of her life. This is Sense and Sensibility with Marianne and Eleanor Dashwood and their adventures in this story. Next up, in 1813, just 2 years later, we have Pride and Prejudice with the wonderful Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy. In 1814, we have Mansfield Park with Fanny Price and Edmund, and we get to see how that story plays out. By 1815, Jane Austen decided to create a heroine that was just out of the norm, not her traditional heroine, make this character so dislikable, can see if anyone can still fall in love with her, and we have many fans of Jane Austen's Emma. Mansfield Park and Emma are 2 of her longest stories that she has written, and Emma, of course, is paired up with the charming, neighborly Mr. Knightley. So we get to see how these 2 fumble their way around each other for how many pages in order to discover who they really love and care for. This is, let's be better organized. Okay, the next 2 books and the final 2 novels that are associated with Jane Austen are Northanger Abbey and Persuasion, which were published posthumously. She passed away in 1817. These 2 were first published together and have since been published separately as well. They were published 1818, a year after her death. She wrote Northanger Abbey when she was younger. Persuasion was the last completed work that she had written during her lifetime. There is Sanditon, which has inspired the Sanditon show that was in the process of being written at the time of Jane's death. I don't have a copy of this. I did listen to this on audio and it was fine, but it wasn't my favorite of hers. I have not watched the Sanditon miniseries, which is very infamous to talk about. This is something that was widely discussed because it was unfinished. The show writers took it in their own hands to see how they would wrap up the show, and now 2nd season is coming out, so they are making it up as they go along. So it's interesting to see how Jane's works, complete and non-complete, have inspired so many films and stories and retellings. Oh my gosh, how many Jane Austen retellings out there? I would have to make a whole nother video about that and all my favorite Jane Austen retellings. If you would love to see that, leave me a comment below, but I could talk about Jane Austen and her works and her retellings all day long. So to recap, we have Sense and Sensibility in 1811. 1813, we have Pride and Prejudice. In 1814, we have Mansfield Park, and then in 1815, we have Emma. And last but not least, in 1818, Northanger Abbey and Persuasion are her final 2 books that were published the year after her death. Whether or not she wanted them to be published leaves room to debate. I know some authors, can be very hotly contested whether or not some authors want their works to be published after their death if they don't publish them themselves. I have also heard of an author who has expressed in her will that if she has not published something by the time she has passed away, she does not want it to be published after she's gone. So I find that very interesting and interesting to mention in this video. So that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know which your favorite Jane Austen novel is in the comments. So I look forward to chatting with you guys next time in my next video. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye.